Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a live stream session here at Rindle's Computer Service. It's been quite a few days since I've gotten on here, but due to the weather and snow and stuff like that, it's just been kind of busy. I do have other obligations that I have to keep during the week, so that's kind of why I didn't really make any videos this week because I had a lot of work this week. So that we will get around to doing a review. I can't guarantee that it'll be tomorrow, but maybe sometime next week we'll do a tech product or something. Who knows? We'll wait and see. I just want to thank a lot of the people in the community came around and helped shovel here at the office. I'm not going to name names, but I'm very appreciative of the help. It helps me because a lot of times I'm out plowing other people. And it's not really a side business so much as just the church I work for. A lot of times when I get a snowstorm, and then I'm usually over there plowing or shoveling the sidewalks and plowing and salting. And as far as the parking lot, I don't do that. If I had to do all that, I don't think I'd even have any time to be over here at all. So that's, and I don't really want that liability of having to be there at 4:30 in the morning to make sure that it's plowed out, so that the daycare that's currently leasing the school building, so that traffic can come through, drop their kids off. Because they actually start about they're there about almost 3:30 in the morning, getting things ready to go for their day to start. And I gotta give them credit for getting up that early to be there. And a lot of times they're there until 9, 10 o'clock at night. So it's not easy putting in a 12, 13, 14 hour day, plus even more. A lot of times they're even there on Saturdays and Sundays until late in the evening. So, but then again, even here, it's 10:30 at night. I'm still here, but I had to go to my day job today, so I had a few projects I had to work on and some online webinar stuff. But I'm not going to get into the specifics of what kind of webinar it was. It's just more. The only thing I can say is that it's more business fundamental and how to be more business appropriate in that kind of topic. But it was more or less where you just had two screens set up, where one with the speaker and then the other, your face is on with a few other, you can see a few other people in, and if they had questions or something, you can ask the person presenting the webinar. And then there's a certain point of it where you would basically interact with some of the other people attending the webinar. But it's really, I'm not gonna get into the whole nitty gritty of that. That's it was kind of on the boring side. I'm not gonna drag into it because I'm half here. You're just gonna turn off the stream if I go into great detail about. So I'm not gonna get into it. If you're that interested in taking those webinars, they're online. You just gotta find them. So basically, next thing on my agenda is I'm gonna find another place to run the business. but something preferably on the cheap side, and even preferably here in town. Something with cheap rent, something something with more flexibility. It'd be about the same size as this. I still need the storefront. Just dang pop-ups. Let's close that crap out. I thought about it long and hard, and in order to conduct a business, you gotta not only do you need an office, and you actually need you actually need multiple rooms. And the reason I say that is your storefront you want neat and tidy, but you need a junk room and then you need an office. And junk room is basically your work room where you've got your projects laid out all over and different stuff here, different stuff there. But basically, you gotta have you gotta have a decent place to work. Here, I got stuff scattered all over, and a lot of people are like, "Well, how do you work like that?" And I'm like, it amazes myself how I can live and work like this. Well, it's not the worst, but it's not the best either on how I got things set up. But it is what it is. You just kind of got to make do with what you got. As far as like the workshop end of it, I'm gonna take part of my garage and then wall off one of the stalls and make that a workshop. But I still need a storefront because I got a lot of customers that actually like to stop in person and conduct business that way. And there's a lot of I don't really want people coming and going from my house. One, you got to protect your family's privacy. Two, you got to protect yourself. That'd be like a criminal lawyer or defense attorney. You don't want people coming to your house, or if you don't want criminals coming to your house. I don't like to give out my personal address either. It's just it's not safe. It's not wise to give out your address. You got to have a separate address for your business. There are people that run computer businesses out of their house, and there are the people that come and go out of other people's houses that have businesses out of them. But is it the most wisest thing in the world? Probably not. But you do what you got to do to cut your costs down. And is there a lot of money in this business? There can be money to be made. But if I stay in this place, I got to raise my rates up to almost $150 an hour in order to be able to afford this place. And I'm just talking this one room. There's You can't tell me that people are going to pay $150 an hour for computer service. Even I wouldn't pay that. But the thing is, you gotta if you want to keep your customers, you gotta keep your costs lower. Some jobs are more expensive than others. I'll give you that. And do I work for peanuts? Yes, I work for peanuts quite often on a lot of projects. But when you have your rent set at one price and your cost of things is set at one price, then the lower your rent and the lower your utilities and all that are, then you can factor in the lower prices. But when that stuff goes up, you got to raise your rates because if you're not making any money at this, then there's something wrong. If you're not coming out with a profit after each service call, each job, or any parts you need, I I don't actually make a lot of money off of ordering parts or selling consignment items. I do it because sure you make a few bucks, but and even scrapping computers, if you got the right hardware, you can make a decent amount. But not every time somebody brings recycled goods in is it going to be anything worth a huge lump sum of money. But then again, if you do multiple things or offer multiple services and you're good at what you do and you don't mess up a lot, then yeah, you can afford to do extra things. You can have certain programs available to your customers, and eventually I will be offering more, but it takes money to do that, and things are a little tight right now, but things will get better eventually. If we get that other stimulus that they've been talking about, a $600 stimulus is just kind of a joke. I haven't spent it yet, but I got my eye on a few things that I need to for around here to perform my jobs. There's one lady in the next town over that's got a server that I'm kind of price is right. It's not the most. It's not a brand new one, but it's fairly recent. And the price that she has on there is pretty much a steal. So I'm not going to tell you where it is or who's selling it, but it's it's more or less like a learning tool, I guess you could say. Keep up with the times with modern technology, and so I run the most modern technology here at the office for doing my day-to-day work here. Not exactly, but I like to do with what I actually work on more modern equipment than I actually own personally. But on that note, it is what it is as far as the equipment. You can get by with older stuff to run your office. You don't have to have all new stuff. But basically, another interesting topic that has actually came into the sign of light, as they call it. Why do people still use landlines? Honestly, not only is it cool to still use a landline for your business, but the reason I still use one is one, phone service is only $22 a month, and that's after taxes for the phone service or for the landline service that I got. And it's nice to have a place for customers to call and leave messages with an actual answering machine. And people are like, well, just get a second cell phone. Why would you want a landline? And I'm like, a lot of businesses use landlines. I'm like, that'd be like if you called Walmart on a cell phone and they only had one cell phone for the whole place. And they just kind of they looked at me like, well, how would that work? And I'm like, well, how would that work here if I had one phone for everything? And they said, well, I guess you're right then. I guess you do need a landline. And I'm like, yeah, it's nice to have a place where you can listen to your messages and be honest, it's just a basic flat rate phone service. It's not. I don't have call waiting. I don't have automated music or elevator music that I can put you on hold with. I don't have any of that. It's just basic phone with caller ID at least. So that's all you need. You don't need fancy stuff for your phone. And even if you do have a cell phone for your business, all you need is a flip phone. You don't need an expensive smartphone to do all your major internet related tasks like email, web surfing, or writing your invoices and that. In certain applications, a cell phone is handy if you're in the notary business, or if you're a notary public, or you need a phone to take pictures of people's credentials or documents, or then yeah, you kind of would want a smartphone for those certain applications because you got certain apps that you run that you would need. But enough said there. We're gonna move on. It is cold this week, and hopefully we get 2 weeks of frigid temperatures. That way you kind of kill off some of the mosquitoes and extra spiders and all that other and gnats and mud wasp and all that. If you don't get a long enough period of time that's below zero, then the population's not going to die off. But honestly, I think it's kind of overpopulated with mosquitoes and spiders and all that anyway. You need them to a certain extent, but when you're that overpopulated with it, it's just not a good thing either. Especially gnats. And what's really bad is a lot of times in the evening, it's during the summer, it cools down and it's nice to sit outside, but you got so many gnats and bugs pestering you that you can barely sit outside without getting all bit up. And so it's kind of a shame sometimes, but it is what it is. So on this note, hope everybody enjoyed this little mini session here. Well, not quite mini, but it's almost wrapping up in 20 minutes. So take care, everybody. Bless you all in Jesus' name. And we'll see you very soon.